Choosing a coffee brewer is about more than just getting caffeine into your system. It's about choosing a ritual, a process, and ultimately a philosophy for how you want to start your day. On one side, you have the Percolator, a throwback to rugged simplicity and stovetop hissing, a workhorse that promises a hot, strong cup with no fuss. On the other, the French press, the darling of coffee aficionados, a tool of patience and precision that delivers a nuanced, full-bodied brew. They both make coffee, but they couldn't be more different in their approach. So let's get into it. Brewing method. Here's what matters most: the fundamental way each brewer extracts flavor from the bean. A percolator is essentially a closed loop of brewing. You have a chamber for water at the bottom and a basket for coffee grounds at the top, connected by a tube. As the water heats on a stovetop or with an electric element, it boils, and that pressure forces hot water up the tube and over the grounds. This freshly brewed coffee then drips back down into the main pot, where it mixes with the remaining water, only to be heated again and sent back through the grounds. This cycle continues until the coffee reaches your desired strength. Let me explain why this is critical. The coffee is repeatedly being rebrewed with hotter and hotter liquid, which has massive implications for the final taste. The French press operates on a completely different principle: full immersion. It's a much more patient and gentle process. You add coarsely ground coffee directly into the glass or metal carafe. Pour hot, not boiling water over it. Give it a quick stir, and then you just wait. For about 4 minutes, the grounds steep directly in the water, like making tea. All the extraction happens in one go. When the time is up, you press a plunger with a fine mesh filter down to the bottom, trapping the grounds and separating them from the beautiful rich coffee above. There is no cycling, no rebrewing, and no boiling. It's a single, controlled extraction event. Flavor and body. Because of those radically different methods, the coffee they produce is worlds apart. The percolator's continuous cycle of boiling and rebrewing creates an intensely bold, aromatic, and piping hot cup of coffee. There's no denying its strength. However, this process is a double-edged sword. Constantly boiling coffee is the fastest way to destroy delicate flavor compounds and introduce bitterness. A well-managed percolator can produce a strong, satisfying, classic diner-style coffee. But if you let it go for even a minute too long, you end up with a brew that tastes burnt, overly bitter, and stripped of all subtlety. It's a high-risk, high-reward method for those who prioritize heat and raw strength above all else. The French press, with its gentle steeping method, delivers a cup that is celebrated for its richness and complexity. Because it doesn't use a paper filter, all the coffee's natural oils and some microscopic solids, or fines, remain in the final brew. This is what gives French press coffee its signature heavy, velvety body and rich mouthfeel. You get a much more nuanced and complete flavor profile, where you can actually taste the subtle notes of the bean, be it citrus, chocolate, or berry. The trade-off is a bit of sediment at the bottom of your cup, which some people dislike. But for those who want a truly full-bodied and flavorful experience, the French press is almost always the winner in a direct taste comparison. Ease of use. When it comes to simplicity, the answer depends on what you value. An electric percolator is arguably one of the easiest set-it-and-forget-it methods out there. You add water, add coffee, plug it in, and walk away. It turns itself off when it's done. A stovetop percolator requires more babysitting. You have to monitor the heat and listen for the characteristic perking sound to time the brew, making it easy to over-extract if you get distracted. The French press involves a few more distinct steps. Heat water separately, measure grounds, pour, stir, time the steep, and then plunge. It's not automated. However, many people find this ritual meditative and straightforward. The process is the same every single time, making it easy to master and replicate. The biggest hassle with a French press isn't the brewing, it's the cleanup. Scooping out the wet, sludgy grounds from the bottom of the carafe can be a messy affair, whereas a percolator's grounds are neatly contained in a removable basket. So for automation, the electric percolator wins. For a simple, repeatable manual process, the French press holds its own. Capacity and crowd serving. This is where the percolator has a clear and undeniable advantage. Percolators are built to serve groups. It's common to find models that can brew 8, 12, or even more cups of coffee at once. Their design is inherently scalable. This makes them the go-to choice for family gatherings, office settings, or church basements for a reason. If you need to produce a large volume of hot coffee quickly, nothing beats a percolator. A French press, on the other hand, is a much more personal brewer. The most common sizes make enough for 1 to 3 people, typically around 34 ounces or 1 liter. While larger models exist, they become somewhat unwieldy, and the process doesn't scale as efficiently. Brewing for a large group with a French press would mean making multiple batches back-to-back, which is impractical. Bottom line, for solo brewing or a couple, a French press is perfect. For a crowd, the percolator is the only logical choice. Control and versatility. If you're the kind of person who likes to tinker and perfect your brew, the French press is your playground. You have total control over every critical variable. You can change the coffee to water ratio. You can fine-tune the grind size. You can precisely control the water temperature. And you can adjust the steeping time down to the second. This makes the French press incredibly versatile, allowing you to bring out the best in any type of coffee bean, from a light, acidic single origin to a dark, oily roast. A percolator offers almost no control in comparison. The water temperature is always at or near boiling, which is technically too hot for optimal extraction. The brew time is a rough estimate, and there's no precise way to end the extraction process other than just turning it off and hoping for the best. You can adjust the grind size and the amount of coffee you use, but you're always fighting against the brewer's aggressive, high-heat method. It's a blunt instrument designed to do one thing: make strong, hot coffee. It is not a tool for nuance or experimentation. Brew time. At first glance, it seems like the percolator should be faster, but it's often a wash. A French press brew requires about 4 minutes of steeping, plus the time it takes to boil your water in a separate kettle. All in, you're looking at about 5 to 7 minutes from start to finish. A percolator's brew time is often cited as about a minute per cup, so an 8-cup pot would take around 8 to 10 minutes. This doesn't even include the initial time it takes for the water to come to a boil inside the percolator itself, especially if you start with cold water. So for a small batch, the French press is often slightly faster. For a very large batch, the percolator might catch up, but it's rarely a significant time saver. Portability and durability. For camping and outdoor use, the stovetop percolator is a classic for good reason. They are typically made of durable stainless steel or enamelware, have no fragile parts, and can be placed directly over a campfire or on a camp stove. They are rugged, self-contained units that are built to withstand abuse. The French press, traditionally made with a fragile glass carafe, is a poor choice for a backpack. While more durable stainless steel and plastic models exist, they still require you to have a separate vessel to boil water, adding an extra piece of gear to your pack. In the battle for the campsite, the percolator wins handily. Cleanup and maintenance. As mentioned earlier, cleanup presents a clear trade-off. A French press has fewer parts, typically just the carafe and the plunger assembly, and many are dishwasher safe. The main annoyance is dealing with the wet grounds. A percolator has more components: the pot, the lid, the tube, and the basket. These often have nooks and crannies that can be difficult to clean, and most electric models cannot be submerged in water. However, the grounds themselves are neatly contained in the basket, which can often be dumped straight into the compost with minimal mess. So the French press has an easier parts cleaning process, while the percolator offers tidier grounds disposal. Best use cases. So let's bring it all together. The bottom line is this: a coffee percolator is the right choice for you if you need to make large quantities of coffee for a group, if you value durability for camping, or if you simply prefer a very strong, very hot, no-frills cup and aren't overly concerned with potential bitterness. It's a workhorse, not a show pony. The French press is for the coffee lover who prioritizes flavor, body, and nuance above all else. It's for the person who enjoys the daily ritual of brewing and wants to have complete control over the final result. If you brew for 1 or 2 people at a time, and you want to explore the world of specialty coffee and taste the difference between beans, the French press is, without a doubt, the superior tool for the job.